Hey guys, what's up? This is ZMH Tech here, and today we're going to do a video on 3 JavaScript um, things that you can do with JavaScript that basically most people haven't covered, or most people don't know right now you could do. Now, we're not going to use any libraries or anything. It's just plain JavaScript code. So what are the 3 functions? The 3 functions we're going to go over today is basically how to send a post request using just plain JavaScript. I have another video dedicated on that, post and get. So look for that if you're interested. We won't cover everything in this video. You can watch the video a few weeks ago. The second function is how to save a file. If you've ever bought anything off a website, sometimes you can download a invoice. You can do that in JavaScript. That doesn't have to be a server-side thing, where it will pop open a box and download a file that you've created. You can create it through JavaScript and save it to the person's computer. The third thing is how to print a text or a file from JavaScript. Now, that one I recently learned because I was building Large Dog VR Studio. This is a VR game and animation website that I've built recently. We have animations right now, high dive animations you can download, and on November 14th or 17th, I'm going to be releasing an HTC Vive baseball game. It's a pretty advanced game that you can use to train on basically and improve your baseball skills. So if you're interested in those things, definitely check this website out that I've been working on ever since January, I think. But basically, I learned the print function for this website a few weeks ago because I wanted people to be able to print an invoice of if they purchase a game, or print a gift code, and then they could give it to a friend or something like that. So let's get started on showing you guys the 3 functions in JavaScript. So right now we got a localhost. You don't need to be on a localhost. You can do this just with a plain HTML file, but I'm on localhost because the first one is a post request. So obviously we're going to need a server. So basically, let's do the first one first. Now I have a more detailed video, so click on my videos and then look for JavaScript post and get request. But basically, real quickly, we got a little button linked to a send post request function. Then in our JavaScript function, we got data. Now, how the data works is it's field and data, field and data. So data ones are filled, and then it equals 1, and then you have to put the and sign in front of every field after the first field. Then the URL, obviously. I guess we should change that to the full URL. I think it would work just with the slash though. And then basically you set up a XML HTTP. This code is for the IE old IE browsers, Internet Explorer. And then what it does is it runs this piece of code right here, skips this, and goes down here. We're using asynchronous. If you want to learn the difference, watch the other video that I have about why asynchronous and how it would look if we're not using asynchronous. But we're using asynchronous. We're sending it with that. You can set whatever header you want, and then we're sending the data. And then since we did asynchronous, it comes back up here in a callback. So when it's completed, basically 4 is completed. So, and then if it's a 200, which means the completion is successful. If it wasn't, it'd give like a 4 or a 5, one of those errors, a 400 or a 500, somewhere in that series. And then we're just alerting basically the response text. And if your response is in JSON, which most APIs are going to be, please make sure to watch the other video. I cover how to parse the JSON This is just using plain text, but most of the times the server will return JSON. So please watch that other video. So here's our server. I just have it rigged up to say always successful, and then just echo back a 0. So if we run this in a browser, we can see it basically echoed back a 0. So that is how we send a post request using just JavaScript functions. Alright, so now for the second part of this video, and the third part, I thought I'd show you guys on an actual website to get a better understanding. So this is largedogvrstudio.com, my website, and basically the next function we're going to cover is the saving a file. So this is great for like invoices, or what I have right now is I do have it on invoices. If you go to the My Account section, but right now on the Purchase Gift Code section, you can purchase a gift code, enter a gift code, and then you can also view the gift codes you've purchased and the gift codes you've entered. So let's say we wanted to download this for our records. So basically we can click on download all gift code history and it will save a file. So let's look at this as an example. So we have this function which basically destroys the element of the link, and we'll talk about that in a second. So function save file. You got your text, which is the content of the file, and then a file type. So we have a file name, and what I do on this side is I also put in a get time and date, so it will put the current time and date in the file name. But for right now, just a simple example, we have a file name. Then we have a check, basically, if we're Internet Explorer, because we need to know that. Then we create a blob, which is the file contents and the file type. Okay, now the file type. The file type is it's a MIME file type. So whatever file you want to do, you need to Google search your file MIME type. So for HTML, which is what we're going to be doing, it's text/HTML. For plain text, it would be text/plain. And I think for JSON, it's application/JSON. But those are only 3 I know. So you'll have to look up the other ones. And then our contents is just going to be HTML. So then, and bold. So then what it does after that, after it creates the blob, it basically then creates a link, basically an HTML link in JavaScript. And then if you're not Internet Explorer, it creates it normally. It gives the properties and sets the properties of the link, the href, the onClick, and then basically the style. So basically we put onClick basically to destroy the link. That way it cleans itself up basically after it's executed. And then we append it to the HTML file and then click it. And we do all this in code. And then if we are Internet Explorer, then we can just call a simple API function in Internet Explorer, and we don't have to do all this. So that's it for this part, and then an example of it in an actual website. Basically, I have it set up to where when you click this button, it takes the content is basically, I have a div that goes from here down to here. So basically it just gets the inner HTML of that div, which will be all of this. And then I have like a fancy table So then I parse it a little bit to convert it to just a regular HTML table. Because otherwise I have to put all the CSS in it and stuff. So when we click on download, we are presented with a download box. So, and the time and the date and the file name. So we'll save it in this folder. And then when we open it, we now have the title, and this is basically the file contents. So you can put whatever you want to put. And as you can see, the tables and the data, they line up. So basically, that's it for part 2. Now for part 3, we've got print, which you can print out a code or HTML page or whatever from JavaScript. So this is the very little function for print. We don't need GIF code. So basically what it does is it document.body.innerHTML. So that is basically the HTML of the entire page. So basically it saves the old page as a variable. Then you put your content here, whatever you want to print. And then basically it sets the page to the new content. Then it calls window.print function. And then once it's done, either OK or cancel, doesn't matter. It then sets the HTML of the page back to the original page. So this is a pretty simple function to understand. So let's see it in action now. If we basically the way I have it set up is you can pick these are gift codes that someone can buy and then give as a gift to someone, and then they can go on the website, enter in the gift code, and now they have their video game. So basically, once you've purchased the gift code on this website, it then goes into your gift code history, and you can pick if you want to deliver it by email or print. So if they pick a print, the next step will be they'll go to the gift code history. Let's say we picked, we picked the second one as print. So we will click on the second one. And then we want to print it. So we click on print. And then what it does is it creates the HTML and it puts in the data. And then they can print it from here. And then when you click cancel, the original page is back. And you can see actually this reloaded. So that shows you it reloads the page or rewrites the HTML back to the page. So that's it for this video series.